Now let's consider Isaac Gervaise, an early 18th century writer on economics. We don't know much about Gervaise, but he was born as a Huguenot and his family moved to England. What he's famous for is a pamphlet called The System or Theory of Trade of the World, which was published in 1720. I see Gervaise as the first economist to lay out a general and mostly valid theory of international equilibrium of prices and incomes and balances of trade and how they all fit together. This is sometimes called in the literature the Price-specie flow mechanism. Before Gervaise, hardly anyone understood this stuff, so it's actually remarkable how big an advance he made in one short pamphlet. He starts with some basic insights, including what we might now call the law of one price. That is, under free trade, prices in different nations or regions, they will tend to equalize because of the trade. Gervaise held that money is distributed in rough proportion to the population of a nation. Today we might say in proportion to the size of that nation's economy. Keep in mind, this is a world here with a gold standard and fixed exchange rates, at least for the countries Gervaise was talking about. And to the extent your country had more population or more economic activity, well, to that extent it would attract in more money. The key parts of the pamphlet are the comparative statics. So, for instance, he considers the question, what happens if credit goes up in one country, as a kind of thought experiment? And he notes quite correctly that in that country, prices will go up, prices, P here, and also in that same country, nominal incomes will go up. The real advance is that he understood how that would bring about a subsequent re-equilibration. For instance, in this home country, now that prices have gone up, well, how does that change relative price ratios? It means it is harder for that country to export, and the higher incomes in that country mean that people have more to spend, and they are more likely to import commodities from abroad. So the tendency here is that exports from that country are going down, and imports, which we represent by M sometimes, are going up, and that will tend to re-establish a balance of trade. What's really neat about the exposition is that Gervaise sees both a price effect from the change in relative prices and an income effect from the higher incomes in the country where credit has first gone up. In the longer run, he saw that both the price increases and the credit expansion would end up spread across borders, and they would affect many countries until some kind of equilibrium was restored. Gervaise considered a number of different scenarios, but in general he told stories where gold flows until an equilibrium of prices and incomes is restored, and he had a pretty clear concept of equilibrium, and he also understood the difference between analyzing the final states he was talking about and the dynamic processes which brought you to those final states. And for 1720, this was really remarkably sophisticated. Arguably, the next major step forward would not come until David Hume's essay on money in the middle of the century. In any case, for further reading, of course, there's Gervaise himself. His work you can buy in paperback form. It's actually pretty intelligible. There's a very good article you can find through JSTOR called Isaac Gervaise on the International Mechanism of Adjustment. And finally, if you want to use Google more generally, you could start with the term Price-specie flow mechanism.